the news had come out that Trump says he expects to be arrested by New York City prosecutor Alvin Bragg in relation to what to me is clearly not a campaign finance related violation. And let me explain. So I studied campaign finance law. I don't claim to be an expert in it. But as a general rule, the reason campaign finance laws exist is to keep individuals from profiting off of their own political campaigns. In other words, if I decided to run for an elective office and I raised $20 million and I spent millions of those dollars on personal expenditures, I would be using my office to raise money to directly enrich myself. And so much of campaign finance law is predicated on the idea of keeping an individual from being able to get wealthy from political office, right? The reason why I bring that up is the entire conceit of the Stormy Daniels argument that Trump paid $130,000 effectively for an NDA to prevent his relationship, to the extent it occurred, from going public with Stormy Daniels. The reason why he paid that money was the exact opposite of a campaign finance violation. Because most campaign finance violations are about you accruing more property by running for office. Trump is giving money away, right? $130,000 to Stormy Daniels to effectively buy her silence. Oh, by the way, it didn't buy her silence. She violated clearly the NDA, got to keep all of her money, and got to tell her story, which is the entire opposite of the purpose of an NDA, right? The reason why you would sign a non-disclosure agreement and pay for it is because you are paying for silence in some way, right? So Trump paid the NDA, and then Stormy Daniels went and violated the NDA, and Trump has argued, look, I was trying to maintain my legal obligations. He denies a relationship. This is not a serious crime. It's a misdemeanor that is trying to be tricked up into a felony by Alvin Bragg. And this is important because everybody out there, Washington Post puts democracy dies in darkness at the top of their newspaper. MSNBC, CNN, the New York Times, all of them claim that Trump was a direct threat to democracy. Yet never in our history have we ever had a president or former president charged with a crime like this. And so Alvin Bragg is going to set a new precedent. And that is, we're going to use, Alvin Bragg is a Democrat. He is an elected prosecutor. He is incentivized politically to charge Donald Trump with a crime. And we are now going to set the precedent that political parties don't just fight out nasty political battles against each other, but they now indict leading political figures from the other party and try to put them in jail entirely for partisan political purposes. And if you don't think that this precedent will lead to a banana republic era where one day Republicans are going to be in power and they will then charge Democrats, and this will go on and round we go, such that our own justice system becomes a banana republic, then you don't understand the dangers that are afoot here. And Alvin Bragg, or this DA down in Atlanta, or Merrick Garland, they have all, and Democrats in general, they have all so significantly convinced themselves that we are dealing with Donald Trump as an existential threat to the United States, that they are willing to destroy democracy itself in an effort to go out and get Donald Trump. So this happens very often if you study history, and again, I'm a history nerd. You have to be very careful that you don't become that which you claim to hate, right? Democrats so convince themselves that Donald Trump was a tremendous threat to American democracy, that they have essentially created themselves everything they claimed that Trump would be. They have embraced authoritarian dictatorship tactics, an effort to silence all political opposition, in an effort to try to protect the country, in their mind, from Donald Trump. They have become everything that they claimed Trump would be. And if he is charged, then I believe this will become the new trend, which is no one will trust the Justice Department. I said this when Mar-a-Lago was raided. I think Merrick Garland has fundamentally failed. Now, larger picture. Democrats are desperate to run against Donald Trump. And I think if he is charged with a crime, Trump will be strengthened politically. And if he is charged with a crime, I believe that it will become very difficult to beat Donald Trump in the Republican primary, because I think a lot of people will rally around him. But simultaneously, it's important to understand the only way that Democrats think they can win with Joe Biden in 2024 is by running again against Donald Trump. Now, I don't think that's true. They also thought, Democrats did in 2016, oh, Hillary's definitely going to beat Trump. That obviously didn't end up being true. But I think as you break all of this down and contemplate and think in sort of a larger picture than the moment for this instant, what are we setting the precedent of? It's going to become, charging your political opponents is going to become commonplace, as it is in many other countries around the world, which is a direct attack on democracy. I'm going to have a lot more thoughts on this. You can go listen to Clay and Buck. We talked about it extensively. But this is the beginning of a new era, unfortunately, in American politics, where it's not only that you battle for political ideas, it's that you try to put your political opponents in prison and keep them there. And I think that's where we're headed.